Billed as the UK's biggest craft fair, here is what is worth your time at the Knit+Stitch Show. Held at Alexandra Palace over 4 days each autumn, the London edition of the Knit+Stitch Show has over 200 exhibitors across fabric, sewing machines, embroidery, crafting, knitting, quilting, crochet and haberdashery. If you have never been before, like me, this video will give you an insight into what the day feels like and help you decide if it suits you to go. I had never had a chance to visit before and always wondered which crafts it focused on the most, especially viewing the show through a fashion lens. But the day held some really nice surprises for me. You can expect to see 2 giant halls with aisle upon aisle of amazing stalls and staff who are happy to help. This is an all-killer, no-filler craft fair. Every stall is there to cater to a specific facet of the handmade community. You can handle materials, compare tools and ask detailed questions. If you sew, knit, crochet, embroider or quilt, there is something here for you. It's also very visitor friendly, lots of places to get a coffee or food and lots of seating dotted around to rest your legs. As I expected, there were big stands from the major sewing machine brands such as Brother and Janome. Interestingly, the models on display catered to the audience at the show. Mainly specialised models and machines with features for experienced crafters, rather than a display of beginner models. There were plenty of staff on hand though. If you're new to sewing, I'm sure they would be happy to answer your questions, but they may not have a large range of entry-level machines for you to test drive. I also expected to see the range of stalls with wool, fabric and well-stocked suppliers. My hunch is that many of the vendors have done the show before because the stalls were really nicely set out and decorated with a wide range of interesting products on show. I wasn't sure what to expect from the show from a fashion perspective. I would say that there were some great stalls from pattern companies such as So Different, Tilly and the Buttons and Trend Patterns. So home sewing is represented, however it does sit within a wider mix. There are also some great options if you were there to pick up some meterage of fabric, and Bedai and Cloth Atelier had some really lovely prints as well. I was also struck by how many of the stalls featured kits for a variety of different crafts. It makes perfect sense that stalls would offer kits, as this is a great way for people to get into a new craft. Or even just for an experienced crafter, it is easier to carry out a project when you know all the materials are provided for you. However, I just couldn't believe the range available. There could have been a whole video on kits alone. Wandering around with my new camera chatting to people, I had forgotten how welcoming this community is in person. There is no gatekeeping here, only people who love making great things and want to help you make them too. I had a lovely chat with Paul and Neil from Ernest Wright, who explained the difference between scissors and shears. Paul explained how shears are over 7 inches long and have a side bend handle with unequal bows. In comparison, scissors have equal bows. It was so nice trying out their shears in person. Shears are such a great investment once you feel you're out of the beginner stage of sewing. I also chatted with Alyson from Moorit magazine, which is a crochet magazine that she runs independently. Such a reminder that so many of the craft companies and publications are independent and run by people working so hard for the love of the craft, usually with less people behind the scenes than you think. Alyson was showing as part of the BIPOC and Fibre stand alongside other exhibitors. There was a nice chance to take part in a bit of embroidery and needlework at the Royal School of Needlework stand. I sat with Youn and we compared notes on how we thread our needles. Youn described the technique for securing your thread to start off an embroidery. You start with a small knot at the end of the thread, like a waist knot in tailoring, and feed your needle through from the top of the embroidery first, then sew 2 small stitches to secure the thread before beginning your embroidery. Any excess thread leading to the waist knot can then be easily clipped away. The best surprise of the show for me was the exhibited work as part of the Textile Galleries. There were pieces from a range of ages and some really intricate works on display. I particularly enjoyed the colour and texture in the work of textile artist Carmen Mardonez, which was like large-scale sculpture with embroidery and beading on discarded sheets and pillows. Her work is ripe for a collaboration with a large fashion brand or a takeover of a store like Dover Street Market. Lynn Setterington was another textile artist on display with beautiful works and samples of different colours and textures. If you are a fashion student or just in need of some colour inspiration, then the Textile Galleries were a hidden gem. The galleries also offered some breathing space and some quiet away from the more overwhelming stall section. This style of video is new for Assemble, so if you would like to see more visits to craft shows or fashion exhibitions, then feel free to give it a little like or a comment.